Okay, we are now filming. Well, new product today. I don't have any fuel for it. I've got to go get some fuel, and I can only go so many places. And you can't guess what it is. It's a stove. Well, I'm not going to put the pipes up today. I'm just going to and there's 4 sections of pipe. Guess I better not zip it all the way. Now, I expect the dog to be running off with all this stuff unless I put it over here, because I'll want to repack it with this stuff. It's good foam. I like the way they pack these things. Oh. Oh. It's a hefty outfit. It's got legs on it, but I don't think we need legs folded out. I can set it right on this rock to show you what it's all about. This is a pellet stove. Oh, and they've got it so tight with this foamy stuff. How they expect you to get it out of there? Not very easy, I can assure you. What I'm going to do is just get this stuff out of right here. That's part of the fuel stack right there, and unwrap all this stuff and then come back, so I don't take up all the time, all the card, because I'm telling you, it's getting expensive buying those SD cards. And there's the pipe with the damper in it. I don't know how they pack all this stuff in here. You've got one way in, and you sort of like getting a trailer landlocked. Where you turn it in a certain direction, it won't go back that way because of the articulation of the trailer. Man, it's going to take an hour just to cut the plastic off of this. And it is definitely packed in there. We're gonna see it. I'll cut the camera off. And come back after I cut all this plastic off, and we'll see about putting it together. I hadn't seen an instruction sheet yet. You know who I'm talking about when I say I don't have any instructions yet. Okay, I went ahead and put the stove together, but you can see the hopper lid fits on just like that. And you want to make sure that and this just sits right down, this sits down in that little cup, nothing holding it other than gravity. And this sits down in top of that, but always make sure you've got all your latches on the outside of the hopper. That way you don't impede the pellets going down. Now what I'm going to do is pour some pellets in. And that's just a few pounds, because what I'm going to do, and the lid fits on it just like that. Then you pull this out, and that lets the pellets down into the hopper. Now I'm going to show you the lighting procedure. Okay, here's your hopper. Now when this hopper gets hot, you've got a handle, got little hooks in it. Hook it there and open it up. Now there's all the ash. I burned it the other night for quite a few hours. Now here's the way we're going to light it. There's 4 or 5 little baby cotton balls. It's not the big cotton balls. And then put the latch down. And this door will stay up until the last pellets burn, then it will close, and that way you don't get flame going up the top. It'll draw in through the I forgot to open the draft. If you don't open that, your fire out down in the pit, it'll draw. And I'll bring you back when it's lit. I'll show you from. One thing I forgot, don't close the ash door all the way up. Just slide it back and leave a slight crack. Because it's a little windy today and it wasn't getting the draft it needed to pull the heat up. So I opened that just a hair and it is burning now, and it's beginning to start putting out smoke, so the pellets will be lighting pretty soon. But always leave that little crack, and then you've got that handle that will protect you from getting burned, to use the slots to close it up. But it's beginning to get the chimney hot too. But you can see the flame in there, and it will be lighting those pellets. You might be able to see in the draft there, it's lighting the bottom of the pellets. And there's the smoke coming out of the chimney, so the pellets are lit. And it'll be no smoke coming out, it's almost stopped. It's lit the pellets so good. And you can see the pellets are getting it hot. And I'm gonna try baking some biscuits in that oven on top of there. I baked some in that oven underneath, but I mean, you got about 5 minutes. You gotta get them out, flip them over, or they'll burn to a crisp, which I did, but I ate them anyway. They were burned on top, but I love char stuff anyway. I better close that draft on here, because that thing will still burn pretty hot. And this little slot will turn any of these latches if they get loose. And it also operates the ash door and the latch on the oven. It'll open it. Pretty simple to figure out how it works. Well, I forgot to close the damper. If I'd known it's going to be so hot. It gets enough air drawn through the cracks and stuff that it operates pretty good. Oh, I sat out here the other night. I couldn't go in till the fire burned out. And I just poured a few pellets like I did a while ago. And I was out here till, well, it was daylight when I first filmed that first part, so you can tell by that. And I was out here till 11:30, 12 o'clock, something like that. It was still going good, and then waited till it burned out. Okay, we're going to put the biscuits in the oven and see how they do. This is a stove eye cover. Pretty good little baking dish. We're going to see if that thing will get hot enough. I got it rocked back on the stove now. The temperature is starting to rise slowly. Almost up to 100 degrees in there, which means it's probably 50 degrees warmer than that on that second shelf. But we'll see what we'll see. Okay, my coffee water I'm going to put right here, because that stovepipe has got enough heat to roast anything. And that'll be almost drinking temperature, but against that stove pipe, the radiant heat off of it, yeah, the top of that stove's getting hot, and the temperature is well, let's see what the temperature is. Oh, it's over 100 degrees and climbing. But I've always got a windy day to do this. Be like colonial bread. Well, I missed getting the biscuits out of the oven, but that's what they turned out like. And they are good. Turned everything on except the camera. Now that's a biscuit. And it's good. I buttered that pan real good. I get it down to show you. They rose, but then they fell when I started messing with them. But they cook good. I mean, the taste of them is fantastic. They're real easy to eat without anything to go with them. And I guess I better share them with my dogs. But it's time to sit down and have some biscuits. I'm going to pour me up some more coffee though. I should have done that before I turned the camera on. My good old Taster's Choice. Good old Taster's Choice. Well, don't know what I did with my spoon to stir my coffee, but time to sit down and share some biscuits with some dogs. Hey, Ruff. You want a biscuit? Well, I couldn't figure out where I put my biscuits. And I guess Ruff is going to wait till they're all gone. Yeah, I put gobs of butter on the bottom of this pan. And it soaked them up. But these are so good. The coffee water didn't get hot enough though. That pellet stove, if you bake anything, you probably have to leave the door to the oven open. It gets so hot it'll burn biscuits in a hurry. They rose up pretty fast, but I burned them on top. They were charbroiled on top. My boy Ruff is gone. He was here a few minutes ago. I'll save him a biscuit though. These are definitely good. I'm gonna like that pellet stove. I ordered some elbows so I could put the thing in under the shelter and go up and out. Of course, I could have put it right here in the middle and let it just vent right out the top. But what I want to do is get it moved in a little bit, because I'm going to hang a hammock across here. I can hang it either way. I've got a 9-foot nightcat hammock that'll fit in here. Got the little bows on top with to hold the top of it up and the screen off of you. I got to go through containers. I don't know which one it's in. But I'm enjoying my little gazebo here. I'll be doing a lot of cooking here. Of course, I'm going to be doing some hammock hanging over in my roundabout in the woods, because it's nice and private there. And after midnight, the traffic on the highway slacks off. But it used to be pretty quiet. Then I think everybody forgot to buy a muffler. But when the trees are fully filled out, the sound from the highway will be muffled pretty good. Want some more biscuit, Ridge? Well, I almost think my comments are getting blocked off, because the last few videos I've had like one comment. And I had been getting 8 to 12 comments most of the time. But this, my biscuit cooking it's already up to 580 something views and one comment. So I'm thinking something's happening with YouTube where it may be an outside source that's messing with it, stopping the comments. I know there's a lot of hacking going on in all computer systems right now. I'll tell you what, those are strictly good. Well, I think that's enough for filming right now. I'll try to put a story on the end of this before I put it all together. Well, old and crackadated is going to hit you up with one of his stories tonight. Settle down now. It's about a float trip we took in those 48 Chevrolet car hoods. The boats we made out of them. We started the trip in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, on Shoal Creek, right there beside Highway 43. We went about 100 yards down this little road by the creek on the upper side of it, and lowered the boats with the tie ropes, skidded them down through the vines and stuff to the creek, which is about 20 feet below, and then had to tote all our gear down that steep bank. Of course, there was a little fishing spot there where people had hacked out steps in the bank. So we went, got all our stuff loaded on the boats and paddled down to Davy Crockett State Park, and we weren't going to camp in the park. We camped in a little V in where a little creek came into the main creek. We camped there because it had nice rocks behind us, and it was a beautiful little spot. So we camped there that night, and next morning bright and early, loaded our stuff in the boats, and first thing we had to do is go over a little overshot dam. It was maybe 3 feet high at the most, maybe 4 feet. Well, we put the boats in below the dam and we pushed off, and the current pulled us right back up under that overshot dam. Got about 20 gallons of water in the boat, got me wet. We bailed out as we paddled on down the creek and had to hack our way through a tree that a storm had blown down that completely blocked the creek. That was just the start of our misery. So we paddled for, I don't know, several hours, and it was about around 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the morning. We'd gotten into this slack water and paddled and paddled and paddled. I don't know how many miles it was, but around 9 o'clock that morning, we come up to this dam. And of course the water is about a foot below the top of it. And we look, and as far as we can see, there's no creek. It's too late to turn around and go back. We're committed. So we dragged the boats over to the side of the dam and got them up on the bank. So we decided to find out where the creek was before we toted everything down that way to even know if the creek started again. So I'm saying this between it's right out a half mile. We go, and there's still no creek. And then it's rock, I'm talking big slabs of rock. And we get down there, and we turn, and there, another 100 yards away, we can see the creek coming out of this great big, looked like about a 20-something foot pipe. The whole creek was diverted through this, whatever plant it was. And we thought, oh man, we've got to carry all of our gear and 2 of those big heavy boats, and it takes 2 people to carry a boat. So we decided to carry the boats first, because you carry the heaviest thing first, because as you get tired, you want the lighter stuff. So we carried the boats over all those big rocks, big slabs of rock. It was 2 and 3 foot steps up and down, limestone rock. So we get down there and get the boats positioned. Then we go back, and it takes 2 more trips to carry our gear. And it's already around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's taken us 6 hours to do that portage. But here, out of that big pipe, the whole creek that we've been paddling in is coming out of that one pipe. So we got back in the boats and started paddling, and immediately started looking for a place to camp, because we done burned half of our day already just portaging around to find the creek that disappeared. I tell you, that was a scary situation. You look down there and there's no creek, and we got all this gear in these boats, and the only way we're going to travel is by water. But we made it to a campsite, and it was a long trip. And we'd had so much trouble that we were low on food. So we had walked up to a town, and the only thing open was a little cafe, and we got some hamburgers, and we started back down to the boats, and they said, well, we're going to have to make up some mileage for what we lost. We're going to have to travel the creek at night. And I said, no, we're not. I said, I'm going to walk back to the highway and hitch a ride and go home and come back and pick y'all up wherever you down at to Iron City, Tennessee. So I took off and hitchhiked home, and next morning I drove a car up there to Iron City and waited on them, and that afternoon they got there around, I guess it's about 2 o'clock, and they were hungry, and of course I took them some food, but we didn't plan on that extra day. We knew how many miles we were going to travel, but we didn't realize somebody stole the creek. But we sunk the boats there and piled all the stuff in the car and came on back to town. The next day we went up there with a trailer and got the boats. Yeah, that was something we hadn't planned on. I really wanted to take that trip again, knowing that we would have to portage and plan for at least 2 extra days. But if it can, it will, and yeah, it always happened when I was along. Well, I'm fixing to fix me some coffee, and you see my nice fire. I sat out here night before last, I believe, and came out here around 5 o'clock and stayed out here till midnight watching the fire. But I love my little stove there, and it's probably got that coffee water scalding hot. So Old and Crackadated is gonna put this video together, and see you later. Thought I'd give you a few more minutes of that beautiful fire. Something to look at. Well, my dog Ladybug, I don't know if she's gonna make it or not. She's awfully weak. She's not even able to come out and take a walk, but she's still getting around in the house. She stopped eating for a day, but I was able to feed her a hamburger patty I had cooked tonight. And this morning she ate a piece of sliced ham. But she won't eat that dog food anymore, and I can't say as I blame her. I found a piece of something that was like a ground up bone in it, and that's not good for dogs like her. And of course I've got Ridge laying here by the rock in the middle of the gazebo, and I don't know if you can see Ruff moving around out there. He likes to lay just on the other side of the rock walk. Seems to be his favorite spot. Except in the daytime he lays over here where the canopy shades by the side of the rocks. He's got a nice little grassy spot there to lay in. But Ridge loves to be close to me. And of course after a while Ruff will be in here between my legs, want me to pet and rub on him. I can't remember the name of that stove, but let me see if I can. Well, the flame in the stove just picked up fast as soon as I took my light out. But it's like Work of Stove or something like that is the name of it. But it's a nice little outfit. And that method I use, now I always make sure now